Alright, so this is example like number 6. You've got an arithmetic sequence, but you have no clue what the numbers are, and we have to figure out what these A's and B's are before we can determine the numbers. And so I created over here an easier version of this, and I'm going to use this idea to tackle this problem. So in this problem, 5, 8, 11, you can see the difference is 3, and the way that you would prove that it's 3 is you just 8 minus 5. That's 3. The difference between those is the same as, they're both 3. So 8 minus 5, the 8 minus the previous, and then we take 11 minus the previous, and they're both 3. Okay, we're going to apply that to this idea. It's the same concept, and the differences have to be equal. So this difference, we're going to do the same thing as we did over there. Let's step into the picture. Let's set it up. 2b plus 3a minus 3, subtracting a plus b. And we have to put a group around this because the whole thing, a plus b, is getting subtracted, and that makes a difference with this minus sign. Okay, so that difference, that has to be equal to the next difference. I'll do that in a simple color here. The difference here between these two terms is going to be the same amount, although it'll look different with the a's and b's. So that is equal to b minus 3a, and then we're going to subtract this to determine the difference. Okay, so that's the setup. Now we have to balance this out. So we got to clean this up, make it look good. And it's going to take a lot of steps. I'm going to stress your balancing skills from your algebra experience. Let's just simplify what this side looks like here in orange. Distribute that. That would be a minus a and a minus b. And minus a would be 2a. And a minus b would be, this would just be b. And then this minus 3, nothing happens yet. Equals, over here, b minus 2b, negative b, negative 3a minus 3a, negative 6a, and minus 3 plus 3. Okay, so we just made it look a little bit easier. We still got to, I like to get the letters on one side and the numbers on the other side. So if we add 3, if we add 3 to this side, add 3 to this side, this would be 6. And if we add b, it's going to be 2b. If we add 6a, 6a, 8a. Okay, that's going to be useful. 2b plus 8a equals 6, and there's too many unknowns. That's a and b. We'll leave it for now. We're going to use it later, though. So the next thing we're going to do is the same exercise. But now, the difference between those, actually I'll do it in blue because it happens to be the same. That difference has to be equal to this difference. So similar thing, we're going to do this again, this idea here of doing the differences, and then hopefully get a new equation, which we can use in conjunction with this equation with a system to figure out a and b using either substitution or elimination. Let's set it up. This one we already did, and you know what, I'm not going to write the whole blue. Well, I better do it. Okay, so let's do the whole thing again. Okay, so this is a new thing. Okay, and 2b minus 1 minus b minus 3a. Again, parenthesis makes a difference because this minus sign is subtracting the b, minus sign is subtracting 3a. And this one, we already distributed the minus sign. This turns into negative b. Okay. So we just did, that's just rewriting this section here. And the orange, let's go ahead and distribute this in. Okay, so we have a different equation, both with a's and b's again. And similarly, let's get our a's on one side and our b's on the same side, and the numbers over to here. And then we can use this. So, let's see, this, that's just b 3a minus 1. I'm combining 2b and minus b. Over here, this is the same. Okay, so let's do it, let's line it up the same way. So we'll get our letters on this side and our numbers on the other side, but for the new equation. And if we do that, we subtract a b, and get 2b, and subtract 3a, and then we're going to subtract 3. Okay, so now we have two equations with two unknowns, and we're going to use, they're kind of set up nicely for elimination. So that's going to stack them and subtract them or add them as necessary. All right, I'm going to add these together. Notice if I add these, the b's will just cancel out. So we're going to add these. So nothing, which is the point here, and then 8a minus 9a negative a equals 2. Okay, so the 0 doesn't do anything. Negative a equals 2, which means that a equals negative 2. And if you need the procedure for doing that, just divide by negative 1. Okay, so that's important. But that still doesn't tell us the value of b. Well, let's go back to one of the easier. I'm looking at the top ones all positive. It's much easier to do things that are all positive. So let's go back to that one, and we'll substitute a is negative 2 into this a. And I'll rewrite that down here. Okay, so 8 times negative 2, negative 16. Now we're going to add 16 to both sides so that it'll cancel from here. But then on this side, 6, we're going to add 16. It's going to be 22. Divide by 2, and b is 11. Okay, so a is negative 2, b is 11. Let's go back up. Let's just figure out this first term. if A is -2 and B is 11, well, that makes the first term 9. Okay, first term in the sequence is 9. Second term in the sequence, this would make -4. We're going to put in our A is -2 here. Oh, B is 11. So 22 minus 6 minus 3. 22 minus 6 minus 3 is, we've got 11. 22, what did I say? Minus 6, 16, minus 3, 13. Okay, looks like it's going by 4, so let's just confirm, do the next one here. B, 11, minus 3A. Well, that really, minus a negative, that would be 11 plus 6, actually, plus 6. So 15, 17. Yeah. Okay, so in fact, it is going by 4s. And then 2b minus 1, 2b would be 22 minus 1, 21. All right, so that's a more complicated. Now, this is an SL level problem. You have systems from your intermediate algebra. You did not necessarily know how to set up this orange and blue, and so that's the brand new part for this year, the SL level, and then plugging it all back in to figure out the final answer for the sequence.